want to share something very, very, very deep with you. The Yid Hakudosh, the greatest pupil of the Sea of Lublin, and whatever I will say will not be enough because tonight we are free, so I cannot even describe him. The Yid Hakudosh, the holy Jew. Most of his teeth had fallen out from his mouth. And everybody knows the Yid Hakudosh was maybe 6'4", and he was so strong. And I want you to know he passed away when he was 48, not because he was sick, just because he didn't want to live anymore if the Messiah doesn't come. But anyway, at one time, 25 Cossacks jumped on him. And you know, Cossacks are also not just eating chewing gum, and they're strong people, right? And all the 25 Cossacks had to be taken to the hospital. And he didn't even exert himself. He was strong like a lion. So at one time, his greatest pupil, the Peshischa, asked him, Holy Master, what happened to your teeth? So he says, I'll tell you. I believe in God because I was born a Jew. My father, my mother, my Zayde, my Bobbe. Then I asked God, I'd love to experience one time what our father Abraham experienced when it was clear to him for the first time that there is one God. And he says, one time I daven Shemona Esrei, and I say, Baruch, blessed art you, Hashem, God. And God gave me a taste. What our father Abraham felt when he knew for the first time there was one God. It was so awesome that all my teeth fell out. You know, friends, I want to share this deepest depth with you. Can you imagine how many marriages could be saved if suddenly God would open gates for them? They should meet each other again for the first time. For the first time. You know, friends, what our problem is, mostly of us Jewish people? We have such a bagel and lax taste of Yiddishkeit, right? And it's not that Yiddishkeit is bagel and lax. God is bagel and lax, and mostly the whole, right? I mean, if you ask some Jew, what do you think God is? Tell me what God is. Tell me what it is to be a Jew. Yeah, $5 a year for Israel, and if I'm rich and it's tax deductible, make it $5.99. And let's not overdo it, right? And what else? I covered everything. Wait, let me see. What did I forget? Yeah, once a year, Yom Kippur, I have to go down to Shul. And I have to tell you something. This black brother in New York told me a funny thing. He says, you Jews are really funny. He says, last Yom Kippur, he says, I'm not Jewish, but I know about Yom Kippur. He says, it was just about sunset. I pick up this lady coming out from a beauty parlor, and she says, I'll give you $20 if you get me to the synagogue before they blow the horn. You know, she wanted to be on the last prayer and hear the shofar. He says, isn't she crazy? She's coming out from the beauty parlor on Yom Kippur, right? And she wants to hear the shofar. He says, you Jews are funny, you know. What can I say? I mean, he's right? You know what the problem of all those Jews is? All of us. We don't know what God is all about. You think we know what Yom Kippur is? So what's the greatest thing God can do for us? Well, now listen to this. Just remember this. You know what the holiness of Abraham is? Everybody knows Pesach is because of Abraham. Isaac is Shavuos, Sukkot is Yaakov. And please open your hearts, friends, and just listen from the inside of your inside. Avraham is not only the first Jew. You know what Avraham left for us? That a Jew can meet God for the first time again. Seder night, every year. I wish God opens all the gates of heaven for me. God, there really is one God. It is so deep. It is so holy. Pesach night, I forget everything ever learned about Yiddishkeit with the self-noxious most of the time. Because sadly enough, we're living in a generation with the worst teachers we Jews ever had. Minus some exceptions, like here, for instance. But all of us, me too, right, all of us. Pesach night, the greatest miracle happens. Suddenly, I'm a Jew for the first time. You know, friends, can you imagine I can meet my children for the first time again? You know why we don't listen to our children anymore? I said, listen, I know you. I know what you're talking about. Seder night, my little baby opens his or her little mouth. Gewalt, do I listen? I never heard my baby talk. Gewalt is that beautiful. Infinite. It's infinitely beautiful. Infinitely holy. And you know, friends, why do I fix my 4 sons, or my 4 daughters, or my 4 friends? Because all the people I thought they're wicked, they're bad, they're clever, they're stupid, Seder night I'm getting out of the whole picture. Seder night I look at you with different eyes. And you know, my most beautiful friends, I'm sure you agree with me. Most criminals, if God could only grant them one wish, that the world should look at them again for the first time. Gewalt, how we could fix them and heal them. You know, friends, there's all kinds of healings. And I want you to know the deepest depths. The deepest miracle in the world is when you can meet an old friend for the first time. You know, somebody I love for thousands of years, I want to meet them again for the first time. For the first time. And you know, friends, what the deepest depth is? I wish I could look myself again for the first time. With my own self. But you know who looks at me also for the first time? My little baby. My baby says to me, tonight, you're my father for the first time. And my most beautiful friends, I want you to know one thing. You know why children stop talking to us? Because they're disappointed in us. You know, children, when they're born, they really think their parents are infinite. It's clear to them. Because they're just coming from heaven. And imagine they'll ask the angels in heaven, where are we going? Who's my father and who's my mother? Well, what do you mean? They're infinite people. They're God's image. They're the holiest, they're the deepest, they're the highest. Then slowly realize it's not true. They're so limited. They're so small.